99 in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, managing risk is always a challenge in the Caribbean as with any other place. And the Caribbean Risk Management Academy was created in response to a need for risk management training identified during management consulting projects throughout the Caribbean. The organization is hosting its fourth conference. It's going to be on June the 15th at the Radisson Hotel. And the president of CRMA, Ken Hackshaw, joins us now to give us all the information on the event and the value of the exercise, which is themed from vulnerable to resilient to anti-fragile. A new risk frontier, the question is being asked. So, Mr. Hackshaw, hopefully people will get all the answers to that question on June the 15th. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Fazeer. And yes, that is exactly what we will be doing on June 15th at the Radisson. Thanks for having us.
Indeed, good of you to be with us. And before we talk about what we can expect from the event, and indeed the feature speaker, Warren Black, who is the keynote speaker, he is Australia's Risk Consultant of the Year for 2018. So he comes with a considerable level of experience. For those who would like to attend the event, which is going to be all day from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. on June the 15th at the Radisson, what do they have to do, Mr. Hackshaw?
Well, the easiest thing to do is to log into CaribbeanRiskManagement.com. All of the registration details are there. You can pay online. It's a hybrid conference, so you can do it either in person. You can attend either in person or virtually. But again, everything at CaribbeanRiskManagement.com. Is
there a deadline for registration?
No, but so since we're still intra-COVID, so physical space is limited. Although we are encouraging folks to come, meet, and mingle. So there's limited physical space, but there's no deadline to registering.
Okay, so let's get inside that theme, and so that people can get a better sense as to what's going to be discussed come the day of the event.
Okay, so most folks know about the term risk, they know about vulnerability, they know a bit about resilience. But the theme of the conference is not just about methodology. So it's not just about processes. It's about how does one start thinking differently about risk? How does one move from just being less vulnerable to more resilient, to even to the state of being anti-fragile? And anti-fragile is just going beyond resilience. Yeah. So if resilience is bouncing back or recovering, getting to the, and it's not just, esoteric terms. If you want to go beyond that, how do you then bounce forward? How do you thrive and not just survive? And so it's more of the psychology of around risk as well. How does one think differently? And I know you love to mention the word governance. So how our leaders need to govern better so that we are more productive, more efficient, more resilient. Yeah?
So let's just say we can't rely on our leaders for anything useful. Which tends to be the case. How do our businesses, how do our business people take advantage of this opportunity? In other words, for example, the keynote speaker, Mr. Warren Black, from Australia, what is he going to bring to the discussion that is going to be of relevance to our environment?
Okay, so most important, during COVID, if you have not learned as a business leader, or an entrepreneur like your good self, or a parent, if you have not been impacted and learned from COVID, then you're literally living in a dinosaur area, and they could greet you there. But Mr. Black is an engineer by trade. He speaks to complexity and complex systems. I'll give you a good example. If you're building one house, it requires a certain level of thinking, a certain level of different types of processes. You're using bricks. But if you're going from one house to multiple houses, you cannot take the same processes to build one house or the same thinking to go build multiple houses, right? The complexity has increased, the risk has increased, so your preparation needs to be moving along that same continuum. So that's what he brings to he's a complex scientist. Let's put it like that. That's his forte.
And therefore, talking about risk management. I mean, we could go in many different areas, many different directions with it. But are you satisfied that our business community, and not just the business community, leaders in general, how should I say, that their mentality is along that line of thinking risk management or saying, well, let me just think optimistic, dying will happen?
Yeah, well, so So let's use the word mindset and not mentality, right? Am I satisfied? The short answer would be no, but there are exceptions. For a matter of fact, during the conference, we'll be awarding CRMA Risk Management Entity or Risk Management Company of the Year. And it's a Caribbean-based entity with offices here in Trinidad and Tobago. We didn't formally notify them of that yet, hence I'm not mentioning the word. It's kind of like a surprise thing. So stay tuned for that. So no, I'm not satisfied that our leaders today, and it's across the board, across the pond as well, have the right mindset. Because Fazeer, your past education and your past experiences does not guarantee or does not prepare you for what's to come. It does not prepare you for what's. Look at what Jamie Dimon said. He says there's a hurricane around the corner. The UK folks are saying the same thing. And if it's a hurricane in the US financially and in the UK, it's definitely going to impact the Caribbean. So how prepared are we? How resilient are we to deal with that?
And that's the important point. As far as an event like this, are you satisfied that those who will attend, even if they say, look, you know what, I think I really need to get up to speed with building resilience and being mindful of risk and so on. What tools am I going to get on that day that I could actually implement, I could put into practice in a space like Trinidad and Tobago?
Okay, how about I give you a little quick test? So how many different types of animals did Moses take on the ark?
But how many different types? I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer.
So we'll let that go. We don't have enough time for me to test you, but it's again giving them the tools and testing and case scenarios that allow them to stop thinking linear, stop thinking cause and effect. So the example I just shared with you is example of what we'll call, say, lateral thinking, and it's real. These are not, pie in the sky. I mean, there are entities doing it now. So take Amazon. One would think that, so there are companies, and you know this, made so much money during COVID that they have never made before. And why was that? They went beyond just being resilient. And so anti-fragility speaks to those individuals and companies that could operate in chaos or do better when bad things are happening. So how prepared are you? And the bottom line to your issue with governance is the decision makers.
And the
it's
issue
all
is
about leadership, to use your word, governance, because they're the ones who make the decisions. Politicians, CEOs, and again, past experience, past education is not sufficient.
And really, Mr. Hackshaw, it's really going to be surprising when the storm hits, whether it's a financial or other storm or inflation. And people say they're surprised by this because, I mean, it's the storm that everybody's talking about, and they've been talking about it for months.
Yeah, or another pandemic. So there are a number of major disruptions around the corner for you. And my fear is, and I've been doing this for many years, this is like the fourth iteration of conversations you and I would have had around the same topic. But I am not Pollyannish about, I'm not, just crazy optimistic person about what will happen. We are in for some heavy lifting, the Caribbean is. We are in for some heavy lifting if we don't start just thinking differently. Yeah, so, not just linear and cause and effect and fighting the battles we ought not to be fighting.
And because the event is intended, if nothing else, to get people to start thinking differently and be mindful of the impending realities, just remind everybody again, we're talking about the 4th Caribbean Enterprise Risk Management Conference, June the 15th, all day at the Radisson. It's going to be online, it's going to be in person. Just remind everybody again, Mr. Hackshaw, how they can be part of the exercise.
Well, you can go onto CaribbeanRiskManagement.com and register. It is, as you were mentioning, it's both online and in person. There's a small difference in fee, but again, all the information is there. You can register online, you can pay online, and I hope to see you there, Fazeer.
I wish you all the best for that because, as I said, as somebody described me once, not so much a social outcast, but as a social snob. I find it very difficult to be around wider society.
How would you learn new things or think differently so you could challenge the folks who come on your show?
Which is why I describe myself as a dinosaur, Mr. Hackshaw. Let's leave that alone for the moment. Thanks very much once again. But
thanks
indeed,
for having me.
I'm sure many people will take advantage of the opportunity as well. 7:40 in Trinidad and Tobago as we go to the break. Yeah, I find it difficult to be in social settings. I don't know why. Maybe just awkward, I don't know. Here are some images submitted by Brian Narayan, who says that it's flowers from his mother-in-law's backyard, and that mother-in-law is Juliet Chotak. So you're getting in the good graces of your mother-in-law there, Brian, as you present us with these very nice images as well as we go to the break.